All right, last but not least is our wine number 6. It's our Whiskey to Flatlander Volume 2. So we have done a lot of whiskey to wines over the last few years, and we wanted to try and branch out a little bit, try something a little different. And we had our Flatlander base, which is about 60% Cabernet and then 40% Zinfandel. And we put those into 1792 and Oz Tyler barrels, in whiskey barrels, and they were pretty good on their own, but they needed a little bit of something extra. So we ended up adding some Chamberson from Rodine, Dirkson's vineyard. He's about 7 miles or so from here. Have you heard Adam talk in the last video about the late harvest that we did there? That was actually Rodine's vineyard. You didn't know where I was going with that, did you?
Well, I've never been to the Rodine vineyard.
Well, yes. So we went there, and we picked the grapes there. It was our last harvest of last year. But from 2024, we had a Chamberson barrel, and it was kind of one of our only leftover Chamberson barrels. We were trying to figure out what to do with it. And we had these Whiskey to Flatlander. Oh, there's a Chelsea here. Hello. But we're trying to figure out what to do with these Whiskey to Flatlander barrels, and we ended up adding the Chamberson to it, and it tasted delicious. Our Whiskey to Flatlander Volume 1 was very well received, and so we wanted to try it again with the Volume 2, but we wanted to try something a little different. So that's what we ended up doing here. So this is 2 whiskey barrels, aged for about 8 months or so in whiskey barrels, and then 1 non-whiskey barrel from some Chamberson that we buy from down the road here. Turned it into a really nice Whiskey with Flatlander Volume 2. Adam, now you're done with the dog. What you tasting in here?
A lot of like raspberry preservatives would be like the first big note I get. For those people who like whiskey to wine, 23 and 21, it's reminiscent of that. But it's also got this really nice kind of coffee, cocoa nib kind of vibe to it. Actually, probably go really good with some chocolate.
I bet it would actually. That's fun. It's gonna be a little less. You still get the whiskey at the end, but it's a little more subtle than certainly like 24 that we have in the tasting.
Yeah, the 24 compared to this one is the bigger, bolder, brasher of the two. I think part of that is going to be because the Dirkson vineyard, Rodine vineyard, always produces these Chambersons that are really light in color, light body, but still very intense in flavor. I think that's really shown actually incredibly well for the blend that we've got going here. And then the Zinfandels bringing in all this rich gamey fruit, and that Cabernet is giving you a little bit of tea in it. It's a really nice blend. I think this one will be even better received, more well received than the first whiskey that we did.
I agree. I think this is a nice step up from Volume 1. We're trying to experiment and kind of see. People love the whiskey to wine so much, so we wanted to try something different and new. And the whiskey to wine Volume 1 we were happy with. We thought it was good enough. This one's proper. This one's
real good. Very delicious.
And so with that, I just forgot what I was going to say. We will have the selections, and we'll have the 24. You'll be able to substitute that in. If you were looking for something a little bit bigger and bolder, I would say go for the 24. If you're looking for something a little more subtle, but still has that kind of whiskey characteristic at the end, this would be the one to go with there. So kind of depending on what your preferences are, that's kind of how I would suggest you go for your selections that way.
And the good news is, if you don't make any selections, you just show up to the party. We are able to just edit it right there on the spot. You can make your selections the day of. If that's easier on you, I totally agree with that take. I think what other library wines will have.
We're going to figure out the library wines. We have to go down to the cellar and kind of see. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
This is Brian. He's the third silent kind of member of Grace Hill. You may have seen him slinking off into the darkness if you're in the tasting room at some point.
What do you think?
Delicious. But yeah, so we'll be having parties 21st and 22nd of February. We'll probably be in the event center for them, unless you guys like the winery building. We were trying to figure out how we like to do these parties for the wine club, and so We kind of do what we think works well, but we're always open to feedback. So if you guys ever have any suggestions on things you'd like to see us do with the wine club, or how you'd like to see the party structured maybe a little bit differently, we're always happy to hear any of those suggestions and maybe adhere to them if we think it's a pretty cool idea. So you can send those by email to me, Jeff at Grace Winery. That's where all these emails will come from. Or you can talk to Adam in the tasting room as well. And but other than that, we
Don't
look
talk to
forward
Brian.
to yeah, exactly. Not Brian. He's not our people guy. But anyways, we look forward to seeing you on the 21st and 22nd of February. And thanks again for being a Grace Winery Wine Club member. We appreciate you. Cheers.
Cheers.
You drank it all already. Good job.
Well, it was so good.